and Manute on Fox Sports
You're hot.
910 on FM at 99.9 HD2.
Well, we're only a few weeks removed from the Super Bowl, but football is heating right back up with the NFL Scouting Combine, which begins today in Indianapolis. Your first chance to look at some of the players in the incoming 2024 draft class. And joining us now to talk a little bit about this, Rudy Carpenter, as you just heard, the big voice guy. Rudy, with everything that goes on at the Combine, the 40-yard dash, the shuttle, the cone drills, bench press, all that, interviews, when it comes to all that, in your opinion, someone that represents the players, what is the most important? Like, if you could only do one, is it the interview? Is it the 40? What would it be?
I think it's actually probably the medical.
Okay, medical, good.
I think if, everybody's being incredibly honest, I really think it's probably the medical. And one of the things that people don't know is if you go to the Combine and you go through the medical process where, they have the x-rays and you meet with all the team's trainers and they go through all your injuries and surgeries, etc. If those teams aren't comfortable with you and they want to reevaluate you before the draft, they make you do what's called a medical recheck. And that usually happens sometime in the middle of April, end of March, where you have to fly back to Indianapolis and be a part of what they call a medical recheck. And you go back you stay in the same hotel, you go to the same hospital, you meet with all of the same team's trainers who are there, and you essentially participate in what they call the medical recheck. And that is, maybe you're a guy who had surgery a few months ago, you're a guy who got hurt during the season, you're a guy that has had some serious surgeries. They want to check you again and just kind of see what your progress is, what your progress report is before the NFL draft. And, you can run an incredible 40 time and have an incredible broad jump and do incredible in the interview process. But if you get flagged from a medical standpoint, it's going to be really hard for teams to invest a draft pick and invest money into you.
I think back as you lay that out, I think it was the linebacker's name. Was Smith, Notre Dame, the kid that the Cowboys drafted? He took the
Jalen Smith.
Yeah, his first year off. I mean, he had the surgery during the Fiesta Bowl or after the Fiesta Bowl. Kind of break that down. That they feel that he had enough talent, enough confidence in the surgeons and all the people that checked him out to draft him and have him actually sit a year and be a top-notch draft choice. Kind of, if you could, the kind of the theory behind that.
Well, I think he's an interesting guy because he's such a physically gifted player, so talented. But, people forget he was supposed to be probably a top 15 pick. He ended up going in the second round. He lost millions and millions and millions of dollars. But there's players every year that you guys, forget about. There's guys every year who go to the Combine and they find some kind of heart condition, and those guys have been forced to medically retire. There's all kinds of things. Guys have gone to the Combine, gone through the medical check period. They've been found to have cancer or brain tumor or a heart issue. There's been all kinds of things. And, that's an important piece, but it's part of, and I also think people forget too, when the Combine first started, they didn't used to do the on-field testing stuff. They didn't used to do the 40-yard dash and all that stuff. It was strictly just a interview process / medical process. To be honest with you, as you can see, the NFL is now selling tickets to attend the NFL Combine. This has become a money-making event for players, and I'm just shocked. I was having a conversation this morning. I'm shocked players haven't demanded to be compensated to end up going to the NFL Combine. These guys go there, and if they perform bad, it really hurts their draft status. On top of the fact that they can get hurt. Guys get hurt every year at the NFL Combine. So I've been shocked by that. But ultimately, when guys have issues or they get flagged in the medical side of things, it's up to the player and it's up to his representative to perform, or I should say, to get every piece of medical information they can from the surgeons to the doctors, from anybody that they can be able to provide any type of x-ray, MRI, written affirmations, anything saying, hey, this player is okay, he's good to go, he's going to make a full recovery and be back to 100%. And if you can do that, and if you can get teams to buy into it, then, you know, teams will obviously still draft you and invest money in you. But it happens every single year where guys get flagged based on concussion issues, knee surgery issues, heart issues, you know, sickle cell anemia, all kinds of things that come up in the medical process, and it really, really hurts their draftability.
Rudy Carpenter is our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Rudy, the Cardinals are going to select, well, at least everybody believes they're going to select wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. So Marvin Harrison Jr. came out today and said he's not participating in any of the on-field activities. So this goes right back to what you were discussing with the medical and the interviews. I know that we have seen big-name players skip the combine and skipping workouts. Are you to the point now where you just go to the tape and you really don't need the really top guys to do on-field workouts at the combine?
Well, I think it's you know, kind of a catch-22 type situation, right? And I think everybody has to evaluate their situation differently. You know, I always used to hear Mike Mayock on there. I don't know if these guys are scared of, if they're any type of competitor, they would come here and compete. And it's like, okay, Mike, you know, like, but at the end of the day, you're one of these guys that played in the, you know, college football playoff or the championship. You have had barely any time to rest and recover and then get ready for the combine to go participate in the underwear Olympics and run the fastest 40 of your life. In my
Do we lose Rudy?
Try to get him back.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, he was on a roll, too. I loved it. The underwear Olympics, great line for the combine.
Well, it's just intriguing. You just hear the medical exam, and I've talked to a couple guys that they head to toe, sideways, forwards, whatever. And Rudy mentioned with the MRI,
Sure.
the CAT scan, the this, to that. Because you remember, if you're a top round pick, it's a $25, $30 million investment that you're vetting.
Yes.
That's going to be that guy. And from that, I think that when you look at the tape, you alluded to the tape, Jimmy. Yeah, that's one piece of it. That's the majority of it.
Yeah.
But I've heard other guys say,
Three,
look,
he's there.
The one guys that have interviewed well, and the other guys from the medical piece have really gone to. Hey, Rudy, I guess the question Jimmy had alluded to was, you know, how important is it for some of these top-notch guys, or not important maybe, to be at the combine and not show their wares or go through the gyrations that everybody else is?
Yeah, like I was saying, I mean, I just think that most NFL teams already know how these guys are going to test. They go and they talk during the scouting process to the strength coaches at those programs. They know how tall they are. They know how big their hands are. They know how fast their 40 times are. They know what their vertical jumps are and broad. They know all of that information already. And so most of the time when guys go to the combine, you very rarely see guys that you know, help themselves. You mostly see guys that hurt themselves. To me, you know, if I'm, you know, one of the top guys, one of those top quarterbacks going to the NFL combine and showing that I can throw an out route, a go route, a corner route, a dig route, and a slant route, who cares? There's no NFL teams that care how a quarterback throws at the NFL combine. There's none. So what's the point in throwing? Why not just throw at your pro day when you have the full advantage of knowing the timing of the guys that you're going to be working with? If you're a wide receiver, same thing. Why go there and run a 40-yard dash when they already have those numbers, and all you're going to do is, you know, run a time they already know you're going to run, or possibly run slower and hurt yourself? There's no reason to do it. I think it does make sense to go to the combine and participate in the interview process and show these teams your football IQ, show these teams your personality, give an inside glimpse to these teams about who you are as a person and you know what your moral and ethical beliefs are. And then on top of that, go to the NFL combine and participate in the medical side and show these teams that you're healthy. I think that is incredibly important and incredibly valuable. Me personally, from a strategic standpoint, I just don't think that the on-field physical testing stuff is really, really important. If you're at one of those physical freak shows that's going to, like one of our clients, Johnny Wilson, he's a hair below 6'7". He's a couple pounds under 240 pounds. He has humongous hands, and he's going to run a 4.40. I mean, if you're going to do that, you might as well go out. You might as well go out there and show them like what a physical freak you are. But if you're not that guy, and you're just a, standard wide receiver who's 6 feet tall and running 4.40, which is crazy to say because 4.4 used to be incredibly fast. But if you're just a standard 6 foot, 4.4, 185 pound, 90 pound receiver, what's the point? What's the point to go out there and possibly hurt yourself when you've already secured yourself millions of dollars?
Rudy, great stuff. I'm glad we got you on this week for this because the combine is one of those things. I agree. It's a little overrated in my mind, but I know some true football fans love it. But as always, buddy, thanks for the time, man. We appreciate you.
Hey, guys, take care.
Rudy Carpenter, sponsored by All City Towing. Looking for a career that pays great, incredible benefits. It's not going to pay you like an NFL player, but it gets you close as they're continuing to hire new people. So join their team. So you can head to allcitytowing.com